Rashad Evans taking on Dan Kelly. Rashad, a minus 190 favorite, comeback on Dan Kelly, plus 150. What you got?
Bias Cody. Dan Kelly screws me every time, man. I'm shocked. This guy is the little engine that could, man. He just keeps going. He keeps going. He keeps going. There's no doubt he's got skills, man. I mean, the fact that he's competed at 4 different Olympics and is a high degree not BJJ black belt, but a judo black belt, he's got skills. It's more so than just having that judo and just having good takedown defense. Is the guy's got heart and will, probably unlike anybody else in his division. The guy's will to simply win, and maybe that's him fighting at home, who knows, but you got to dig his drive and his commitment and his ability to go. And so this starting out on a 3-fight winning streak was shocking, and, you know, to let you know straight up, I've lost on his last 3 fights. But we're going to start with the Steve Montgomery fight. He's much better on the ground than Steve Montgomery. He should be able to control Montgomery. He does in the first round. The second round, he fades, and he eats a lot of shots. In fact, he's almost knocked out at one point. This is going towards Cody's plan. Hot diggity dog, this guy was who I thought he was. No, it's an outside trip takedown in the third, settles on Montgomery, pounds him, gets the decision. Heartbreaking. But hey, Antonio Carlos Jr., this guy, BJJ black belt for days. He's bigger. He's stronger.
I told you.
First round.
Old man Dan plus 425. Let's go, baby.
That was you, yeah. I'm hot dogging that first round. Old man Dan was who I thought he was. Nope, not at all.
He's way tougher than you thought he was.
His will to win, man. He doesn't care that he had a bad first round. In fact, the second round's not going particularly good for him, but near the second half of the second round, he's breaking him down. The third round, he kicks his ass. He finishes him. That last fight against Kamosi, it's like, okay, this is a good stylistical matchup for Dan Kelly, but let's face it, Kamosi's kind of on his way up. He's a gatekeeper of the division. He's on his way up. But 38-year-old Dan Kelly, there's no way. Shit. The guy just keeps going. He's skills.
Relentless and he's perseverant.
You can't write him off. However, if we're going to get to what he does bad, is that in none of those fights do those guys, they're not wrestlers, right? And Rashad, even though he's not fighting like a wrestler over his last number of fights, that is his pedigree at the end of the day. So Antonio Carlos Jr., he's able to get those takedowns. The problem is he completely gasses. Yep. Against Kamosi, there's no way Kamosi's going to take down a judo black belt of the pedigree of a guy like Dan Kelly. And look at that fight with Steve Montgomery. 100% Montgomery can't take him down. But more so, Montgomery's just way too tall to even have any effectiveness. You'd have to go to the trips, and the trips ain't going to work against a guy like Dan Kelly. But those are all favorable matchups for him. His fight against Fat Walsh's body shuts down because of the weight cut.
Denver altitude, that was like the ugliest, and you actually landed big on that one.
Oh, huge! Yeah, Dan Kelly by decision, like plus 800. I bet $100 on it.
Insane when you think about how the hell did.
No, you knew they were both going to gas.
How the hell was that line so big?
They're both super durable. And they're well, yeah. Why was it so big? I don't know.
Weird.
I don't know. But I sent that message to you. I was like, but this is the move. Anyways, it's the fact that he gets taken down. Now, Walsh was a backup at Ohio State, so, I mean, even just being on the team is a gigantic feather in your cap. He's a hell of a wrestler, but he's not the wrestler that got an All-American out of Michigan like Rashad Evans is. The last time Rashad Evans looked good in a fight is the Chael Sonnen fight, and if you rewatch that, they jockey for position the first minute, but eventually he gets that double against the cage, and when he starts to rain down ground and pound, it's hellacious. Now, look at Dan Kelly on the Ultimate Fight. Loses to Sheldon Westcott. Westcott's not a good wrestler, and he's certainly not on the level of a guy like Rashad Evans, but he's aggressive. He goes in there, he gets the takedown. Once he gets the takedown, he easily just punches him out. That what I would say is the game plan here. Again, Sam Alvey, it was a quick knockout. Who knows how that fight would have played out, because Sam Alvey doesn't get taken down easily. So it would have been a tough matchup for Kelly regardless. When I look at the spot against Rashad, there's massive question marks from Rashad. First of all, making 185 for the first time.
He looks really good from what I've seen Instagram posts and stuff. He claims to be at 191 pounds, but fighters always lie like the week of like how actually close they are.
Well,
but,
yeah,
he looks smaller. He looks trim. He looks like he's in shape. He sounded good when he was on, I believe it was the Anik and Florian pod that I listened to yesterday. Everything sounded, real good from Rashad, to be honest.
Question mark number 1, Paul has answered it. The weight cut seems to be doing good. Question mark number 2, getting blasted by Glover like that. Nasty knockout, last fight.
Dan Kelly's not really a power puncher. He's a volume guy.
But how much does that go to Rashad's confidence? How much? Rashad likes to exchange. That's the other thing here. Mm-hmm. I'm factoring that he's just going to take Dan Kelly down and smash him, which is his best path to victory. But he doesn't necessarily fight like that anymore.
No.
He likes to
may try to style and strike.
How much does that knockout play into that, though? How much of it is him thinking, Dan Kelly probably can't throw hands.
He's too slow.
Neither could Marcelo Fortuna.
I'll be able to run around him.
Okay, third question. This guy couldn't even get licensed to fight in New York or Toronto. He has a medical issue. It has not been disclosed. How much of the medical issue do you play into? He says he's fought his entire career with this. So if you're going to take his word for it, it's not affecting him. But he's 37. One of his eyes look like it has a detached retina. Mm-hmm. And Luis Henrique, he's on the card as well. He got denied fighting him in New York because he's had eye surgery. I don't doubt that Rashad has had some type of procedure in his eye, which is the reason why he couldn't get licensed.
Yeah. I think it was a brain thing or something.
There's the other thing.
I don't know.
Well, Chael was
There's
saying
a lot of big
brain
question marks
damage,
around this
Someone
one.
was saying brain. Who was that?
I think I still gotta lean. I'm leaning Rashad here, and I've actually been on Dan Kelly, I believe, in the Camozzi fight and the Carlos Jr. fight. But the question marks is what is holding me back from making a bet in this spot
No,
here.
I'm in.
So
I'm
all
in on
you
this
Dan
one.
Kelly guys, you just keep betting the crap out of this Dan Kelly line. You get me a nice little...
Well, it's coming down a little bit, but once again, if you're just going to now break down this fight for what it is, Dan Kelly's actually 2 years older than Rashad.
Yep.
So you can't really use the argument of, well, he's one of these BJ Penn era guys that are slowing down. He's fighting another guy that's technically speaking on the same level. The guys that Dan Kelly is fighting, nowhere near the level of Rashad. Rashad's fighting the best guys in
And
the
the guys
division.
that Rashad's losing to would probably kill Dan Kelly.
Rashad's a guy that at his best could go 5 rounds with John Jones. I know a lot of guys go 5 rounds with John Jones, but you know what I mean. He's fought at the highest level, and he's fought. That's what I mean. That's why a lot of guys good. You can fight at a very. Rashad is a guy that has fought at a very high level. When you look at Dan Kelly, I mean, John Jones is not even a finisher, but I can't imagine him getting out of the first round with John Jones. I can't. So we know that the class is different. And when you look at Dan Kelly's older, how much has Dan Kelly gotten better? Since it's not like one guy's on the recline and one guy's on the incline. They're kind of both in the same spot. Now Blackzilian Jim fell apart. That's another question mark. But I think Rashad's a guy that's taking care of himself. He's done the right thing. He's become a coach in the later couple of years, and I think taking that step back has kind of allowed him to change up his approach, rethink things. But back to why I got Rashad here. The line, minus 190, I don't mind it. Yeah. Rashad's better striker. On paper, he is. His angles, far better. His footwork, far better.
He's had a good gas tank in the past.
Yeah, his speed's far better. His takedowns are better. His takedown defense is going to be much better. And even if Dan Kelly does manage to get him down, like a Ryan Bader, he's going to get back up. He really is. You got to watch out for the power punch, but as we talked about, Dan Kelly not really a power puncher.
No, he's more of a volume guy, and he usually just capitalizes when his opponent starts getting tired.
Yeah.
And Rashad, I don't really anticipate getting tired. You're really just dodging. You're dodging that knockout punch.
Yeah. Also, Kelly's been rocked in a number of his fights. Whether he's been knocked out in the fight, you can rock this guy. And now that's a...
Sheldon Westcott damn near killed him.
Well, Sheldon Westcott damn near killed him. Rashad Evans and Sheldon Westcott, not really in the same league. Now, I realize that was a long time ago, but I do like the line, minus 190. I expect Rashad to be much bigger than this, and I will be taking the play.